Great Migration. From -1600 till -1500 IC. Following the great catastrophe that had befallen the SKAVEN race, their once mighty city was laid low as crumbling masonry littered the streets with rock and debris. But even this dreadful event had not expelled the world of the SKAVEN threat. For from underneath the ruins, small pockets of survivors began to claw their way out. As they emerged, all they saw was destruction. No building stood undamaged. All was in ruins, except for the great bell tower that loomed over the great city. A seething mass of these survivors began to crowd around the great temple doors as they begged their god for guidance in this time of woe. But none dared to enter, lest they incur his holy wrath. When the SKAVEN began to squabble and fight at the temple's footsteps, the great chapel door swung open and 12 figures emerged, airily backlit by an ominous light shining within the temple. The 12 grey-clad rat lords spoke with one voice to the assembled multitude. The time had come for the children of the horned rat to spread across the world, to multiply in the dark places, to gather strength. The great horned rat had whispered his plan, and it was the Lords of Decay, as they named themselves, who were to lead them. With the SKAVEN hordes finally united under the guidance of their god, the hordes began to burrow once more into the caverns of the dead sorcerers. Upon their entrance, they found that the sorcerers had indeed succeeded in their ritual. Great cracks within the earth had created long passages that connected the city of Skavenblight to a massive highway of tunnels beneath the spine of the World's Edge Mountains. The surviving SKAVEN heeded their god's will, and the hordes began to divide into 12 armies, each led by one of the Lords of Decay. Like a cancer eating at the world, the SKAVEN spread far and wide amongst the tunnels and caverns that their sorcerers had provided them. Within months, the SKAVEN had already begun numerous raids and assaults against dwarven mines and settlements along the spine of the World's Edge Mountains. And from this, the glorious Under Empire had been brought to reality. Over the next few hundred years, the SKAVEN became a widespread race, with clans spreading to nearly all corners of the world. But each clan, no matter how far and wide, would always consider Skavenblight to be the one true capital of their race, with operatives and diplomats making constant contact with their home city. During this time, rumors began to spread across the Underway about a massive hoard of warpstone deposits located within the southern reaches of the World's Edge Mountains. The mountain in question, known as Cripple Peak, has within its roots a motherlode of the dangerous mineral embedded deep within its sundered core. With so much warpstone to be gained from this mountain, the SKAVEN clans launched multiple expeditions towards the mountain in hope of claiming this rich mineral deposit for themselves. However, as the SKAVEN began to encroach upon the tunnels beneath the mountain, reports from scouts and raiding parties bore news that the upper reaches of the mountain were occupied by a great horde of undead warriors, led by the ancient Nehekara necromancer, Nagash. And the mountain he currently claimed was the great fortress of Nagashizar. Initially, each SKAVEN clan greedily attacked Nagashizar separately as they tried to be the first to grab the riches of the mountains for themselves. But the formidable fortress was not so easily overtaken, and the SKAVEN hordes were pushed out of the mountain time and time again. As this grueling war of attrition between the two factions began to stretch well into the decades, this series of invasions and military engagements became known by the SKAVEN as the War of Cripple Peak.